You believe Islam is true over Christianity. I just want to know why.
Oh, so I just think that it's an extension. So well, not necessarily extension, just a continuation. So, for example, right, I believe that God created everything. So Allah is the creator. He created everything. Everything else is the creation. Meaning that all the prophets teaching the same message to all their followers, you know what I'm saying, from all throughout time. So in Islam, it's very simple. It's simple that Allah created everything. He sent all the prophets to teach his message throughout time. And every religion had a time, a place, a language, you know what I'm saying? And a message as well. So my point is that Christianity had a message for his time, was a prophet, and now Muhammad had his time, and he just continued the message. That's it. Very simple.
Okay, so you believe that Christianity is true, but we're just in the age of Islam now.
I just think Christianity, because I don't want to be disrespectful. I think Christianity.
Be as honest as you can be. It's okay. We don't get offended here.
Right. So all I'm saying is that I think Christianity was after Jesus, because we both believe that Jesus went basically ascended up, right? So after Jesus ascended, I do believe that his story became bigger than what it actually is. It's something that before the prophet died, he said, "I don't want to be overpraised the way the Christians overpraise Jesus." Meaning that Jesus did a lot of miracles. I think we have a lot of similarity when it comes to miracles, when it comes to the message. Even when he says things like, "Hear, O Israel, you have one God, worship one God." That message is the same in Islam. I think where the difference is that
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because he's talking about Yahweh, and you don't believe in Yahweh, and he says that he sits at the right hand of Yahweh in that same, just a few verses later.
Well,
so
yeah.
You believe that Jesus? So you believe that Jesus is Lord, who sits at the right hand of God?
Well, I believe that Jesus is Lord.
That sits
Lord
at the right hand.
What?
He rules alongside the Father.
What I will say is that I'm not sure how you're using the word Lord, but what I will say is that
I'm telling you right now, he's the Lord, ruler of heaven and earth, sitting at the right hand of the Father.
No, I don't believe that. But okay. When you say Lord, a Lord doesn't mean a God. A Lord can be out of respect. So you're saying like the Lord of a castle, the Lord of a town.
Why are you doing that? Because I just told you what I'm saying by Lord, or what Jesus said by Lord. I just told you that. So you don't even have to waste time going into all these other different, ways that Lord is used. So Jesus claims in that same passage where he says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one," when he quotes Deuteronomy, in that same passage, just a few verses later, he says that he is also the Lord who sits at the right hand of the Father. So does that? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You can't cherry pick what Jesus says and say, "Oh, you know what? I believe Jesus here," but don't believe Jesus 2 sentences later or before.
Because I don't believe that you guys have what was revealed to Jesus or whatever he had, and whatever Jesus did have, you guys don't have that.
Okay, so then you don't know. How do you know that Jesus said, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one"? How do you know he said that if you don't believe we have that? Yet you're quoting it.
It's very simple, because some things can always be translated over, meaning that you guys might not have the entire story, but some things never got changed. So from my opinion,
how do you know that that's something that he actually said? Is my question.
Because there's a similar, not exact word for word, but there's a similar passage in the Quran where Jesus is talking about.
Who cares what the Quran says? The Quran came 600 years later. How do you know that Jesus actually said, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one"? Because that's what he said.
Because that's confirmed in the Quran, not word for word.
It's not confirmed in the Quran. The Quran never says Jesus said that.
I didn't say word for word. I'm saying that the message of there's one God, only worship him, it was confirmed in the Quran.
Oh, so in the same passage, when Jesus is saying that there's only one God that you're to love and worship, he claims that he is also that one God who is deserving of worship in the same passage. That's what I'm saying.
Who wrote that down?
Who wrote down where Jesus says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one"? Who wrote that?
I'm asking a genuine question. I'm asking, where is that? Like, who wrote that?
Mark.
What passage is that?
Mark. It's Mark 12.
I got you. So what I'm saying is that, like, those are the distinctions that we make, and we're saying that this is not the gospel that Jesus was revealed to Jesus. So, however, some things How what?
How are you making the distinction? Because I'm still not hearing how when Jesus says one thing in this particular verse, same chapter, same verse, same conversation, but what he says in the next breath is not what he said. How do you differentiate? That doesn't make any sense.
It's confirmed in the Quran. Those messages, like for example, I told you a little bit earlier, like Solomon saying that.
Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself?
Yeah. The Quran is going to confirm the previous scriptures.
What does it mean to confirm?
It means that some of these things that's going to coincide with the Quran. That's how you know that all these things were one message at one point in time.
All right, so let me ask you this. Hold on. Let me ask you this, brother. So are you saying that the Quran decides what was actually true in the previous scriptures?
Yes.
Okay. If that's the case, why does Allah in the Quran tell Muhammad to go check the previous scriptures to make sure that the Quran is true? Why does he tell him to do that?
He's telling them to tell them to check their own scriptures to confirm that he's the prophet.
You missed it again. This is why I got to cut you off. Listen to what I'm saying. We had the same problem in the last live. Pay attention.
Right. All right, go ahead, brother.
Chapter 10, verse 94 of the Quran. Allah is speaking to Muhammad, supposedly.
Okay.
He tells Muhammad, if you're in doubt about what we have revealed to you,
okay, I got you.
Then go and ask the people who've been reading the scripture before you.
Right.
So if what you're saying is true, which is that it's the Quran that checks the previous scriptures to make sure they're true, why does Allah have Muhammad doing the reverse? That he has to go check the previous scriptures to make sure that the Quran is true. Why does he have him doing that?
All right, great question. Hear me out, right? So the Quran was not revealed in one great book coming down over the course of time, right? So not only is he converting them people, like, I don't know if you guys had this story or not, but Abraham had to have a strength of faith. So
you're not answering the question.
I'm answering the question with, when you confirm in faith, you're saying if there is a doubt in you, you can go check the previous revelations to strengthen your the confirmation. So these revelations that came before Muhammad also came from Allah to a degree before they were changed. The original message never actually changed, which is...
I'll ask it one last time.
Okay.
Why is Allah sending Muhammad to the previous scriptures to make sure that the Quran is true?
It's the confirmation for him. Which part are you thinking that I'm saying wrong? Like which part am I like not connecting with you with? I'm saying this is the confirmation not only for him but for the people. Because
okay, I'll tell you where the disconnect is, DJ.
Okay.
Because you're saying that it's the Quran that checks the previous scriptures. That whatever aligns with the Quran, that's how we know what's true in the previous scriptures.
Right.
But in the Quran, that's not how it goes. It's the other way around. In the Quran, it's the previous scriptures that check the Quran. That if the Quran is in line with the scriptures, then you know that the Quran is true.
Because he's trying to convert the people and give them belief.
This is talking about Muhammad. It's not talking about the people. It's talking about Muhammad.
Hear me out. The Prophet Muhammad is still a person. He needs confirmation too. So what if you're saying is even the point, what I'm saying to you is
So how does he know that the Quran is true according to the verse?
He's getting revelation. But that
according to the verse. How does he know that the Quran is true? How does he get confirmation? How does he get verification that his revelations of the Quran are actually good? They're actually true. How does he check that?
He's received. How you say? Are you saying do we think he's like not getting real revelation?
I'll do it. No, of course I don't. But I'll read the verse again. It says, if you are in doubt about what we have revealed. So Muhammad, if you're doubting that the revelations that we've given you are true.
What surah you read? What surah and verse you reading?
Chapter 10, verse 94.
All right, give me 1 second to go look at it. Can I look at it 1 second?
Sure, take your time, man. 1094, now. Where is this left shoulder's handler?
Yeah. So listen.
What's his name? I need to know. I got to know.
I think this is the whole part with Christianity and Islam. We see words. I see no problem with that because at the end of the day,
I'm not asking if you have a problem with it. You're missing it. I'm not asking if you have a problem with it.
Hear me out. Look, think about what's actually going on during the time he's getting ready. He's getting challenged by.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
DJ.
Yeah.
Please, brother, focus on the point.
Right.
So, according to the verse, how is Muhammad supposed to know for sure that his revelations of the Quran are true?
Because the previous revelations are also true.
Boom. So, if the Quran lines up with what came before it, right, that's how he knows that the Quran is true, right?
Yeah, it's confirmation for sure.
All right, so do you see how you have it backwards? You're saying, well, how we know that the previous scriptures are true is if it lines up with the Quran. No. How you know the Quran is true is if it lines up with the previous scriptures. The previous scriptures are the judge, not the Quran.
I disagree, but I'm fine with your point. However, listen.
That's what the Quran says. So you disagree with the Quran?
No. I'm just arguing your point for you, right? So what I'm saying is that
you disagree with the Quran.
Just hear me out. I'm saying I disagree with you, but I'm saying from your perspective now, I see what you're saying. What I'm saying is that there are points from Judaism and Christianity and Islam that all line up. So if they all line up, those are the things that you're going to say that they have to be absolute.
I'm sorry, and there are points in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity that contradict at its core. So who cares, for example, the Messiah, who the Messiah is? Obviously, most of Judaism disagrees on who the Messiah is. Okay. Right? What the Messiah is supposed to do, his purpose. I love this point. I love this point. Good. You guys don't know what the Messiah is supposed to do, but you reject his salvific work as being the Son of God who dies for our sins. So this is what you need to focus on.
Go ahead.
You said that you disagree with the point that I made. So that means that you disagree with what the Quran just said.
No.
The Quran says, go check the previous scriptures so that you know that you're in right standing. Okay, right? Hear me out. Okay. Wait, is that what the Quran says?
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Does the Quran say that in order for Muhammad to not have doubts, he should go check the scriptures, right?
In that verse I just read, that's what it said. Yeah.
So then what's the checking point? The checking point is if the Quran lines up with the previous scriptures, then the Quran is true. And you have no reason to doubt Muhammad, right?
Right. Of course.
So then the previous scriptures are the judge according to the Quran, right?
I'm fine with that point. Just hear me out on your point. You said there are things, I said all three religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, agree on some things, right? There's other points where maybe two of them, like the Messiah, agree, but Judaism doesn't, right? But then Christianity is the only one that's saying there's three gods in one. That means
nobody says there's three gods in one. Do not misrepresent Christianity. And two, you're not sticking to the point.
That is the point.
DJ, if you can't stick to the point, man, we're just gonna have to end it. Please focus on the point.
Because you're getting cooked, you don't want to talk about it. I'm saying just.
I bet. I'm saying, what's the point? Repeat my point.
So what you're saying, like you maybe I want to go read the surah, right? The surah is saying that from your perspective that Muhammad has to confirm the Quran with the previous scriptures to give him confidence or to give him the confirmation, right?
So according to that verse, what's the judge of what is true and what's false?
It's the confirmation. So even if you want to change the word and say judge, I'm fine with that because
I'm gonna ask again. Yeah. Since you're fine with it, answer the damn question. What's the question? According to the verse, what is the judge of what is true or false?
That's not, you're changing the question. According to the verse, it said, if you are in doubt, go check the previous scripture.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I choose me.